Hi, welcome back to Tutor Talk for another episode. I'm joined today by Andrea Good, who is one of our tutors, and what we're going to be talking about today is CS2. Now, CS2 has developed itself a bit of a reputation, I think, recently. It's a tough exam. It's one of these exams that some people can find they struggle with for some time. And in particular, I guess what's different about CS2 to some of the other difficult exams, it comes quite early on in your qualification journey. Now, Andrea teaches CS2 as well as some other subjects. So I'll just give you, Andrea, a moment to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Dave. Yes, I teach CS1 and CS2. I also work with the Level 4 apprentices and teach Module 0. I'm based in Bristol, so I do quite a lot of online and travel around the country like most of the other tutors. I started my career in life insurance, then moved into pensions, and then went a little bit into teaching. I've done some marking for the Institute, and I've done a lot of marking for ACTED as well, and now I'm a tutor.
Great stuff, Andrea. That is a long list of experience, isn't it? One thing that is quite interesting, what you just said then, is that you teach CS1 as well as CS2. So these are obviously two very closely related subjects. But how would you say CS2 differs from CS1?
Well, I think CS2 is a much bigger course. There's more chapters. In terms of tutorial days, there's an extra day. We've got day 5 in there. And there's more variety of topics that you're going to cover. CS1, there is that flow of, building on earlier chapters, and it feels a lot sort of more connected. CS2, there's lots of variety in there. So you're going to have to learn maybe new material. I mean, maybe you had a sort of strong statistical background, you found CS1 okay. CS2, you are going to have to sort of put in the work, and there's a lot more to it than CS1, I think. And then if you think about the questions that are coming up, so CS1, you can use past exam questions a lot more, I would say, than for CS2. So we do see sort of similar questions that have been asked before, or similar topics. So there is that sort of, it's easier to work from past exam questions for CS1, definitely. So you are going to have to use a lot more problem solving skills than possibly you did in CS1. So it's a lot bigger. You do have to put the work in. It is a step up from CS1.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm going to pick on a point that you mentioned there about the past exam questions, because I'm a strong advocate, certainly in my tutorials, of telling students past papers, past papers, past papers. I still think that's true for CS2, but I think what your point is that the questions they can feel a bit more from left field, can't they? Sometimes, or a little bit more unseen. It's not quite as much the same questions coming up time and time again, or similar topics. So it does really make you think, doesn't it? They really make you work, I think, in the CS2 exam.
Yeah, I would say that definitely using the past exam questions is great, but it's more about problem solving. How would you tackle that question? Thinking about the process rather than it's thinking, oh, if I get a question like this, then I'm going to be flying. That's probably not going to happen. You need to use the skills that you use to get there. So it's more problem solving skills that you'll get from tackling past exam questions. And realistically, you really do need to sort of put yourself under exam conditions and challenge yourself.
So in terms of preparation for your CS2 exam, do you have any specific advice for how students should prepare?
I think that, we've got those course notes. It is a case of, working through those course notes. The examiners can pick on any part of the course notes. So you do have to put the work in. You do have to go through all the notes and the Paper B online resources. Make use of all of that. That is going to give you sort of solid foundational knowledge and skills that you're going to then develop on when it comes to the actual exam question. So it is a case of sort of working through everything, trying to make sure you understand everything before you can actually tackle some of those more difficult exam questions. We have the assignments, which are great. They're going to help you with your basic skills, sort of develop, a bit of problem solving, but really developing that foundation knowledge. And the tutorials as well, they're there to sort of help you get your head around all of the concepts in CS2, make sure you're familiar with everything. Yes. I mean, as a student, sort of switching roles from tutor to be suddenly presented with something like from the exam, you might really struggle and think, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? So we're giving you that sort of foundation to build on, so that when it comes to the exam questions, you can use that knowledge that you've got to extend yourself further. So we can do a little bit of sort of pushing you, but you will need that foundation knowledge. And that's what the tutorials are going to give you, a really solid foundation to then build, so that you can then go on, practice those exam questions, and then see, you know, push yourself, use your problem solving skills, use that knowledge that you've got, that foundation, to answer those trickier exam questions.
I should quickly mention we do know from experiences with apprentices that students that turn up to their tutorials, that do their assignments, that do their mocks, and make use of the full suite of ACTED resources, they do better in their exams. And CS2 is a really important feature. I think we saw most recent data I have available was last September, wasn't it? We saw there was approximate doubling of pass rates for people who went and who used those materials. So it is very useful. I won't get into the old debate about correlation and causation. That's for, I'm sure you all know all about that. But it definitely appears on the face of it like that makes quite a significant difference. So I've alluded to exam day there, haven't I, a little bit, or peaking on exam day. Do you have any specific advice for people about the exam itself, how they should be approaching it?
Yeah, I think there's lots of sort of exam tips that you might have applied earlier, but they're really crucial. You know, make sure you're reading all of the question. Are there parts that maybe you could answer that are later on in the question? Maybe you can sort of do later parts and pick up some marks there if you can't do the whole thing. So it is really a case of sort of trying to get as many marks as you can. And you don't have to do the questions in order, just because, I mean, it's likely within CS2 that you'll have a favourite subject area or a topic area. You know, go for your comfortable one. Make sure you sort of have a go at something you're confident in, that's going to build your confidence, give you a good sort of base to work from. Do a question that you like the look of first, and then maybe move on to sort of more of the trickier ones. You know, you don't have to answer them in order. Just, you know, go with what you're comfortable with. And we do advise as well, you know, practice typing up assignments, you know, get used to working in Word. So, you know, all these tips that you might have heard before, you know, they're really valuable in CS2. We do find, you know, as tutors, we sort of have a go at the exam. We do find that time pressure is there even for us. So it's really important to sort of follow all the advice that you might have heard before. But, you know, it's really crucial here that you are sort of, I guess, having a go at it. So, you know, try and sort of be efficient where you can. If you've got, if there are places where maybe you can use an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe you can use Paper-B, sort of R skills to sort of speed up answering a question, you know, take advantage of that. I mean, obviously you're going to have to type it up in Word, but you could have done quite a lot of the calculations off to the side, and then you can sort of type it up, and that might gain you a bit of time for maybe some of the trickier questions. But it is a case of really sort of going after the marks that you can get, you know, looking through the paper. Is there a mark that I can go after? You know, it's really a case of grabbing whatever marks you can get, just to sort of maximize your mark.
Yeah. No, that's really, really good advice again. Thank you, Andrea. I've really enjoyed that. I think that was a really, really useful discussion. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to you guys for watching. I hope you found this useful. I certainly did. So I guess it's goodbye from me and Andrea.
Yeah, goodbye. Good luck with your exams.
Yes, good luck. And we'll see you all again soon, hopefully for another episode of Tutor Talk.